Tonight, officials in Mexico issuing an arrest warrant related to the investigation into the mysterious death of a 25-year-old American tourist last month.
Shanquella Robinson's murder has raised several metaphorical and literal eyebrows in how it has been handled, with legal loopholes and rings of fire slowing down the process a lot. It has frustrated her friends and family alike, but there may now be a breakthrough in the whole ordeal considering the recent developments coming out of Mexico. Mexican police asked the U.S. government last month to extradite one of their residents to face charges in the strange death of a tourist in Cabo San Lucas. While Robinson's death certificate suggests she died 15 minutes after suffering the neck injury, the Charlotte Observer reports that a doctor from a local hospital was with Robinson and her travel companions for close to 3 hours in the hotel room before she died. According to experts, the U.S. may have no choice but to acquiesce, and while the extradition of an American citizen from the U.S. is unusual, it is not unheard of. If that step is taken in the case of Shanquella Robinson, an American who died while on a group holiday, the matter becomes a diplomatic one involving various departments of the U.S. government, federal court proceedings, and questions regarding the rights of the American suspect. This practice, of course, raises a question of whether we as citizens have the right not to be seized and forcibly removed from the U.S. in order to be put on trial and possibly jailed on criminal charges in another country, said John Perry, a law professor at Lewis and Clark Law School who has studied international extradition. The death of 25-year-old Robinson, who went to Mexico with 6 friends and never returned, has perplexed the American people. Robinson's parents told the media that their daughter's friends initially blamed her death on alcohol intoxication on October 29, but her death certificate cited injuries to the neck and spine as the cause. Since then, a cell phone video of what looks to be Robinson being thrashed by a woman has gone viral, with a male voice saying, "Quella, can you at least fight back?" Bernard Robinson, Robinson's father, verified to media agencies that his daughter was indeed the woman attacked in the video.
Sometimes her daughter just don't do wrong in front of her father's eyes and everything, and, she was the twinkle of his eye.
They attacked her, Bernard Robinson told TMZ. "They put a hole in my heart. That was my only child. I'm heartbroken. I can't even be a granddaddy. I can't walk her down the aisle. I can't hear her voice." He continued, "They left her in that house, ma'am. They left her there for the maid to find her. Do you know how much pain my daughter suffered? I just want justice." Neither Mexican nor American authorities have publicly identified or arrested the suspect in question, and it is unclear where the suspect is currently located. While there is no duty under international law to comply with extradition requests, the United States and Mexico have a decades-old extradition pact that both countries routinely follow. According to Grant Will at the Arizona criminal defense firm Rawls and Will, the U.S. may not have much choice but to extradite the defendant if Mexican officials produce probable cause. Rawls and Will lawyers, who often handle cross-border extradition cases, told Insider that very few U.S. to Mexico extraditions involving American residents occur, and their company has only ever handled one such case. Obviously, it's a dramatic step, Perry told Insider. However, there is some precedent. In a similar instance in 2012, Bruce Beresford Redman, a former Survivor producer and American citizen, was extradited to Mexico to stand trial for the 2010 murder of his wife in Cancun. Beresford Redman was convicted in a Mexican court and sentenced to 7.5 years in prison before being released in 2019. The U.S. starts 607 to -950 extradition proceedings per year. However, that figure includes both requests from U.S. prosecutors to other governments and requests from foreign governments to the U.S., and does not specify how many requests from foreign governments explicitly involve U.S. citizens. According to Perry, the United States extradites between 25 and 45 people to Mexico each year, although it is unknown how many of those persons are American citizens. American officials are also examining Robinson's death and may seek their own charges if any crimes related to the incident occurred on American soil. An FBI official earlier said that the Bureau's field office in Charlotte, North Carolina, has launched an inquiry into Robinson's murder. Robinson was, of course, a Charlotte resident. Robinson's family, on the other hand, stated during a December press conference that they want to see their daughter's friends jailed and arrested in Mexico. And while many countries refuse to extradite their own nationals to face accusations in foreign countries, the United States, according to Perry, is not one of them. An extradition request normally includes sworn affidavits from a prosecutor, investigators, and witnesses, Will told Insider. The prosecutor explains the applicable law, the investigator explains why he believes the requested person is believed to have broken that law, and witnesses provide further corroboration. This raises serious concerns about Americans' rights in their home nations, where they may not have committed any crimes but may still be detained by authorities, according to Perry. Because Mexico's legal system and prisons are infamous for bad circumstances and human rights violations, any extradition in the Robinson case could exacerbate that worry. However, Perry stressed that no criminal defendant would be extradited from the United States without first having their charges and evidence reviewed by a judge. The argument on the other side is that the country requesting extradition has a legitimate interest in seeing justice done, that our cooperation on issues of this kind is mutually beneficial, and that no one is extradited without a court hearing where a judge reviews the charges and evidence. Perry explained, "It is a curious little case when it comes to the legal frameworks involved." Robinson, a former student at Winston-Salem State University in North Carolina, was only in San Jose del Cabo, Mexico, for a day when she died. Her death is being probed by the Federal Bureau of Investigation and Mexican prosecutors, who have issued an arrest warrant for femicide or gender-based homicide, according to CNN. But how exactly is femicide defined? Femicide differs from other forms of murder because it is the gender-related killing of a woman only because she is a woman, Ivana Milovanovic, a Serbian judge, explained to Unwomen. This indicates that the root causes of femicide differ from other types of murder and are related to the general position of women in the society, discrimination against women, gender roles, unequal distribution of power between men and women, habitual gender stereotypes, prejudices, and violence against women. The vast majority of countries do not distinguish between femicide and homicide, and the United States is one of them. To combat gender-based violence, activists around the world, especially in Canada and Latin American countries, are urging governments to designate femicide as a separate crime from homicide. Feminicide in Mexico is defined as evidence of sexual violence prior to the victim's death, a sentimental, affective, or trusting relationship with the perpetrator, and the victim's body being displayed in public, according to the Vision of Humanity organization website. Most cases of femicide are committed by partners or ex-partners and involve ongoing abuse in the home, threats or intimidation, sexual violence, or situations where women have less power or fewer resources than their partner, according to the World Health Organization. It's unclear what exactly prompted the Attorney General in Baja California Sur to investigate Robinson's death as femicide despite all the evidence to the contrary. "All I want is justice," Bernard Robinson, Shanquella's father, said at a rally last week. "I just want the Mexican authorities, the embassy, to do the right thing, make it right, because they came over there on your soil and did what they did and came back here." Shanquella has not been the only American to meet an unfortunate end abroad in recent weeks. At least 6 Americans died from carbon monoxide poisoning while traveling abroad this year, including 2 high-profile occurrences in Mexico and the Bahamas. The deaths of Candace Florence, Jordan Marshall, and Cortez Hall, all 28 years old, were discovered in an Airbnb vacation home in October after the 3 flew to Mexico City to celebrate Dia de los Muertos, better known as Day of the Dead. According to the autopsy report, the trio perished as a result of carbon monoxide poisoning. Florence's boyfriend claims the two spoke just before her death and that she told him she was sick and that something didn't feel right. The phone conversation was suddenly cut, and her partner, who was in the United States, was unable to contact her again. According to NBC News, the families have filed a lawsuit against Airbnb, arguing that the firm did not do enough to guarantee that working carbon monoxide detectors were present. So, what do you think will happen now? Let us know in the comments below, and don't forget to like and subscribe. Until next time, goodbye.